Well, a big welcome to our webinar on 3 simple steps to rekindle your creative spirit and sense of adventure. Hi, Elizabeth. Big welcome. Let me take this opportunity to share some guidelines for you for what will be happening in the webinar. Hi, Fiona and Glenn. Please know that you feel free to use the chat as you are already. Hi, Karen from New Zealand. Please feel free to use the chat. It's so nice to interact with you. It's really about a community that we're wishing to build online. So we love to hear from you and also where you're tuning in from. But throughout the session, we will have some requests and we have some interactions for you. Any questions will be noted and we will bring them up at the end of the webinar. Hi, Christine. We hope you are sitting in a comfortable space. We encourage you to take screenshots at any time during the presentation. And lastly, we ask to have your full attention and to be open to all possibilities. Just to let you know that I am broadcasting from Morocco, but more specifically, a studio in an artisan's complex that was once a trader's hotel. My neighbours are carpenters and tailors, and there may be at some point some chatter, some sawing or some hammering throughout the presentation. And if we are truly blessed, we will hear a drill or an electric sander. And I think Michelle's got something going on in her background too.
Yeah, we've got the gardeners in this morning, so the leaf blowing, which is great.
Now, let me tell you what we will be up to in our presentation today. We will introduce ourselves and a brief on Creativity Quest. Now, you are here today to raise your level of creativity and curiosity. Michelle will then engage you in those 3 steps to do just that. We will then share more on a course that we are offering that this webinar gives you a taster of, how you can jump on board and the prices. Good morning, Belle. And at the end of the webinar, we will stay a little longer to answer any questions. We are looking at about a 50-minute session, knowing that somehow, right now, time can be quite precious. Good morning from Cardiff. Let us begin with this image, a fine example of a medieval astrolabe. Incredibly so, astrolabes were initially invented more than 2,000 years ago. They served as something between a compass and a calculator, aligning the stars and planets to navigate, and thus they made new discoveries. Their development peaked in the medieval Islamic world, which leads me back to my location today. This astrolabe was indeed a sophisticated product of Muslim Al-Andalus, a kingdom made up of northern Morocco and much of Spain. A lot of the material that we share in Creativity Quest uses North Africa, its culture, arts and history as a muse. Don't forget this instrument. A contemporary version will make its appearance later. Now back to us and this webinar. And assuming you are settled in, I invite you to spend a moment and check in with yourself and ask yourself how aligned you are feeling right now. If 1 is low and 10 is high, I invite you to type your answer in the chat. Now, you're in the right place right now if you know the power of inspiration and you value creativity. You're also in the right place right now if you have a zest for adventure and maybe itchy feet. Curious about other cultures, maybe Morocco is on your bucket list, or you have been already. If you look closer, if you love to look closer at modern and contemporary art and traditional crafts, then this is also the right place for you. I've seen a few numbers coming into the box. Christine's on an 8, Fiona's on a 7, Elizabeth is on a 7. Well, that's fantastic. Catherine on a 4, Belle Blue on a 6. Thank you for participating. This image, by the way, is of where Europe meets Africa. Spain and Morocco, once joined politically and culturally. Al-Andalus, as it was known 1,000 years ago, a mere 14 miles of sea between the 2 lands. In this webinar, we endeavour to arouse your sense of curiosity and adventure. On Creativity Quest, we travel to Morocco, a country steeped in fascinating history and a vast portfolio of cultures and artistry. On that note, let's talk about inspiration, because I've been looking it up lately. I must admit, and a little shyly, and with all respect to those who have been gravely affected by recent health and political issues, that I have been feeling quite ecstatic, even more so than my usual high levels of energy. You see, I love change and new challenges. I think it's why I moved to Morocco in the first place. I was in fact living very comfortably in Spain, but something was missing. Life was somehow too predictable. Like many, I get a buzz from new discoveries, but more so the unknown, which is why many of us travel. This, by the way, is the entrance to my hometown, Sefrou, in North Morocco. But it's not only the unknown and new discoveries that excites me, but it's when my options are limited. You know, it's like having only a few ingredients in the kitchen and surprising yourself with a great meal. If I draw parallels between my abstract painting practice and lockdown, it is when I have those limited choices that I work best. This slide is a close-up of some of my work using packaging and craft tapes. The work I produce has surprises and is looser and freer somehow. When challenged with limitations, my creative forces kick in. The serotonins and dopamines that the body produces begin to flow. So during lockdown, I have felt those natural chemicals traveling around my body. Serotonin and dopamine contribute to a sense of well-being and can align us to making life's daily life decisions true to our values. And there lies the elated state. But guess what? They are also contagious, and we are here to share some with you. Without further ado, I should introduce you to some of the more practical things about myself. My name is Jess, and I am Creativity Quest's facilitator. I have been living in Sefrou, Morocco since 2008. I am passionate about bringing cultures together. I am a colorist and an ambassador for creativity, and as you have just heard, somewhat addicted to inspiration. I'd now like to pass you over to Creativity Quest's co-creator, Michelle. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Jess. Thanks for that introduction. That was great. So, hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm based in England on the South Coast, and I've worked in creative fields most of my life. I used to be an animator for television and film, and then I studied art internationally. I started at Chelsea School of Art in London, and then I went to the USA. And in 2001, I did my master's in Barcelona, which is where I met Jess. This is some of my work, with lots of dots and maps. And I too am a serial adventurer. I've lived in New Zealand, Mexico, and in Andalusia in Spain. This was our garden. You can see the bananas, the banana trees. And then about 10 years ago, while we were there, I started training to become a coach, helping writers, entrepreneurs, and all sorts of people go through their creative shyness or blocks. And for the past 4 years, I've been working on something called Artist Adventures, working with people on retreats and with workshops and in developing discourse. This is a group in Assisi in Italy, in beautiful space there. And this one is in Hereford Cathedral in England. So I'm drawn to share the universal power, the adventure, and the sheer joy of making and of following your curiosity. So that's us. And you may also be wondering, what is Creativity Quest? I'll just get rid of my video. So Creativity Quest is an interactive coaching course, a program that invites you on a journey of discovery designed to help you take simple and powerful steps to transform your creative ideas. So you remember the Astrolab right at the beginning? This is a modern version. This is David Packer's Astrolab. And he's an artist based in New York now, but he made this while he was living in Morocco. So this immersive 7-week journey is delivered through a 90-minute group session live online with Jess and myself on Zoom once a week. And each dynamic weekly coaching session takes you deep into the colour, the culture, and the contrasts of one of the world's most fascinating destinations, Morocco. And whether you see yourself at the moment as creative or not, this course welcomes everyone who's curious about their own creativity, because we believe wholeheartedly that everyone's creative, and also that creativity can express itself in a myriad of ways. Oh, that's a leaf blower going in the background. So we help you develop your skills of observation, perception, and personal expression. And over 7 weeks, we give you a whole range of tools and techniques to use to prompt your imagination. And you don't need any special materials. You don't need any previous experience. But equally, if you've already got creative skills, then you can bring them along too. And then armed with simply your curiosity and whatever materials you find you need from the confines or the comfort of your own home, you'll be able to really stretch yourself, to challenge yourself in a good way, and to achieve more than you can currently imagine. Oh, and bring a friend, it's more fun. So each interactive 90-minute session is themed for one rainbow colour. Each colour weaves its own distinctive mood and meaning. And each session is a weekly springboard for you to explore and experiment individually and with fellow travellers, because we have a supportive group. There's no pressure to share. There's no homework to do outside of the session. We know that people are really busy and time is absolutely precious. It's just an absorption that carries you through the week. And it's not limited to visual arts. It comes out in all manner of forms. It could be in the kitchen, or it could be just in your daily things that you do. Just bringing creativity into all of that. This is the view from Jess's rooftop over Sefri. And by the end of this unique journey, you'll have strengthened your ability to see things differently. You'll have unlocked more of your personal creativity and developed a sense of ease and confidence, free to play with new ideas. Even if you're full of them already, there's more, there's plenty more. And in our rapidly changing world, that just might be the most important skill that you can develop. Now I'm going to pass you back to Jess, and she's going to tell you a story. Jess, we need your audio.
Yeah, got that. Sorry. Bear with me a minute. Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to share with you another part of my journey. Can you hear me now? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, so please, I'd love to share this with you. I was fortunate enough to take this vibrant adventure when Michelle invited me 4 years ago. I had created and was directing an arts organisation here in small town Morocco, the product of which, I should add, I was truly proud of. However, my role behind the scenes was totally draining me, and I was burning out, close to being energetically bankrupt. Somehow I had carved myself a job I really wasn't enjoying. It was a horrible feeling. I felt as if I stepped away, and I tried, the organisation would collapse. And if I stayed, I would collapse. I knew clearly where my passions lay, but couldn't get away from the desk or see the wood for the trees. I considered myself quite the creative soul. However, I had no idea how much more room there really was. Then came the call to answer. Over the course of 7 weeks, Michelle and I fooled around with aspirations, tickled ideas, and put dreams down on paper. I collaged and scribbled, and she enticed and challenged. And between us, we mind mapped, visualized, and brainstormed. To begin with, all the ideas that I conceived, I thought were merely fanciful. Though as often is the case, I jumped in, enjoying the journey, and we went to the moon and back with hypothetical scenarios. I loved it. What a trip. We bounced ideas and the imagination flowed, and I felt elated, freed and playful, and those sensations I certainly hadn't felt for a long time. I filled pages and pages of notebooks. Oh. The more we larked around, the more the ideas surged, and I was in a state of flow, disconnected to the stresses and reconnected with inspiration. You know the feeling when there is no sense of time or place, almost like a meditation. Thanks to this creative adventure, I came up with a concept of Sefru Museum of Multiculturalism, to be housed where once was our office. I am proud and delighted to say it is opening this coming unlockdown season. It is small in square meterage, but speaks volumes and has a big impact. Here lies a wonderful balance, a fire to my passions, a community connector, and a vital global topic. I couldn't be more delighted with the fruits of this quest. The inspiration gained continues to give value not only to me, but to a wider community. And thus here I am now, more enthusiastic than ever. The course or quest that we like to refer to, that we are presenting, offered me a remembrance more than a teaching. It was like an unlocking of something, leading me to a source that lies deep within. What's more, its effects are self-generating and contagious. I now hand you over to Michelle, who will share with you her 3 engaging steps, and I'll support the chat.
Thanks, Jess. Love that story. So you're here to rekindle your creative spirit and your sense of adventure. So you start with this. Artist. Oh, let me get my self up in the other corner. Artists who are often thought of as full of creativity pay attention to different things than most people, and then point them out to the rest of us. They make us wonder. This is the fabulous Roche Court near Salisbury in Wiltshire, a private sculpture park that's open to the public, and it's just wonderful. You already have a life of experiences and ideas in you. And then these 3 steps are just waking us up and reminding us of that. So now as we go through the 3 steps, follow along with me if you'd like to. And it might seem a bit strange, but hopefully just bear with me and yeah, so follow along with me. So step 1. Step 1 is simply to leave the everyday behind and to put yourself in a different space, a slightly different mental state, to let yourself know to wake up your senses. You know the feeling when you're going away somewhere special, somewhere exciting that you've really wanted to go for ages, although we're not going very far at the moment, but you know that feeling. We tune in, we're alert in a different way, and we're starting that journey. So like Alice in Wonderland, we're going to leave the everyday behind and go down that rabbit hole. So to do that, we're just going to stop and we're going to breathe and we're going to listen and just leave that sense behind. So follow on with me. So, okay. So clap, clap, snap. Clap, clap, snap. And then breathe in. Breathe in. Keep breathing in. Fill your lungs. Really fill them right up so there's no more space left, and then hold it as long as you can. Keep holding, and then let it out and just listen and tune in. It's not quite silence, never is. Just to clear the brambles, shake off the dust, just take a few moments and leave the everyday behind. So it's noise, breathe, pause, silence, just about changing gear. And you've probably already got your own ways of doing this. Soft, like this grass, or a bit more of a wake up, a bit more snappy and sharp, like these agaves in Spain. I'm going to put a little poll in the chat. So which one do you prefer? Soft or snap? Sharp. I'll let you fill those in. So that was step one. So step two. Step two is simply to add some colour. You've had the phrase seeing through rose-tinted glasses. Well, it's a bit like that. We use colour as a tinted lens through which to look, and no doubt we'll see things slightly differently. So we're going to use the colour to wake us up and liven ourselves up a bit. This is a fabulous image by Moroccan photographer Hassan Hashaj of Billie Eilish. I just love the colours in this. But as one of my favourite quotes goes, so let me move myself again. Change the way it doesn't matter where I'm going to be. I'm going to be out of the way. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. And for the purposes of today, Jess and I have chosen the colour green. And there are loads of reasons for this. And we could tell you lots about that another time in another session. But one of them is in daylight, the human eye is predisposed to the yellowy colours, the yellowy part of the spectrum in the colour green. They're the wavelengths that are most visible to our human eyes. So, but we all see colour differently. So if you ask 50 people which shade of green they can see, you'll get 50 different answers. A bit like that internet sensation with the dress that you may have. Is it white? Is it blue? Is it gold? So, but personally, I'm a builder's daughter, and I like going into DIY shops and just looking at the lovely paint shades, and also the ridiculous names sometimes, the fantastical names that they give the paints. So here you can see Elf Shoe, or Basil Pesto, or Jester Green. Or how about here? There's one called Wiggle, I think, or Green Pawpaw, or Lush Hosta. And again, I'm going to put, I see that people like Sharp this morning on the poll. I'm going to start another one. So which one is your favourite shade of green this morning? So look, we've got all these different lovely shades. We've got everything from lime green to deep olives to all sorts, and everything in between. So now I want you, again, to do something. I want you to look around the space where you're in now and look for something that's green. Ideally something that's within reach, but any object will do. And I want you to find that green thing and bring it back to wherever you are and just have a closer look at it. So just pick it up, bring it back, just have a closer look. I've got one here. And just look at it more closely. Have a really good look and see which shades of green you can see in it. And if you can, let us know in the chat which shades of green you can see. Now I'm going to share mine with you. Mine is my data cable. It's for my phone, and it's from a company here in the UK called Halfords. Very normal object. And I'm going to look at it. It's lime green. I'm going to call this shade of green, in the spirit of those paint swatches, I'm going to call it Halfords Limey. So what can you see, and what are you going to call your shade of green? share it with us in the chat. Oh, and I've lost my mouse. Now, step 3. Step 3. I'm going to read again. Step 3 is to just turn up your curiosity, to get really, really curious. It's like when you're exploring a new country or a new place that you've never been before. And to me, this is Sefru. I've never been to Sefru. And I'm just looking at this image and just going, well, I wonder where that path leads. And I wonder what's through that gateway. I wonder. I call them wonder wanders. Just go for a wonder wander and just looking. There's other words for it as well. Flaneur, all sorts, artists doing walks. Curiouser and curiouser, said Alice in Alice in Wonderland. So just take a really good look now. We're not in Sefru. We're here, just in our own rooms. And we've just got our green object. But I invite you to have a really good look at this object. You might think it's the most boring or dull object in the world, but I'm inviting you to get past all of that and to have a really good look and to really explore it. So that might sound really simple, but it's not necessarily very easy. I mean, look at my phone cable. So at first glance, that's pretty dull. So I'll have to make a really big effort to have a look at it in a really good way, to look well. So what's your object? I'd love to know. I'm just going to pop back into the chat and have a look. End the poll. Elf shoe one. Excellent. But we've got different things going on. You can see there's some fun things going on in the chat. So Jess has got a lighter. I wonder what everyone else has got. But keep looking at your object. So keep looking and keep looking. This is a little bubble of buttons, Moroccan buttons, which some of you might have seen. I've got some more here actually. Got some little Moroccan buttons on my desk. But back to your object. Keep looking at your green thing, whatever that is. And I want you to look at it really closely and just see what you notice about it. Not just in the colour, but other things about it too. So ask yourself something like, oh, what are its strengths? Or where is it weak? I noticed on my cable, it's fraying a little where it's being used too much. Just noticing. This is a fabulous swirl of green by Nadia, another Moroccan artist. So now we're going to turn up our senses, all of them. So your green objects. Look, got the green objects in there. Oh, knitting bag, mints, grapefruit, a good dog's toy, climbing rope, right, a t-shirt, puffer jacket. Like, well, we've got lots of things going on. Wolf green cushion. Love these greens. That's fantastic. So all of these greens and all of these objects. So now, smell it. What does it smell like? Or what does it sound like? Does it make a sound? Or even more so, if it was a person, what would it say to you right now? What would it say? And lastly, what is absolutely marvelous about it. Perfect. Keep sharing. It's lovely to hear what you've got to say about your object. Meanwhile, back to mine. So that's all very well. Smells, sights, sounds, things that are great about it. But what can you do with it? Or its qualities? What can you do with your object and its amazing greenness and its qualities? So I'm looking at the data cable, and it's strong, it's long, it's functional, does what it's supposed to do. But what else? Could you wear it? Maybe make a necklace out of mine. But could you make it into something useful that it wasn't designed to do? I wonder. Could I use it to make marks? If I had some clay right now, I could make some really interesting marks with the end of it, for instance. Could I use it to make noises? And if so, they can be really irritating. Tap the mic. It does sound different on different things. How could you make it more beautiful? And what is missing? What else might you need? Oh, delete. Didn't need to see that. What else might you need to transform it? Back to our swirls. Okay, so would you write a song about it, perhaps? Or tell its story. I wonder what its story is. And if you're telling that story, would it be a tragedy? Would it be a comedy? Or maybe a romance? Joseph Albers described colours as characters in a cast. So each colour is playing its part, which is a really interesting way of looking at artworks, actually. It's a great exercise. But would you, looking at your object, could you make it into a character? And that character, would it be playing a part in a play, in a theatre? Or would it be in a movie? Or maybe it could be in a comic strip. So I expect there's some weird and wonderful ideas. I'm rushing through this a little bit. I imagine you need a bit longer to really explore those ideas, and I invite you to. But share in the chat, and let's have a look. Great, there's drama going on and love. Squeak, squeak, squeak. There's noises. There's all sorts of things going on in the chat. I love that. Okay, keep the ideas coming. So, like I said, we're not teaching you anything new here. You already knew all of this. That sense of wonder that you've always had, that ability to play and explore and get excited about something, anything you choose to, even a data cable, just to look closely. That luxury of simply following your own curiosity and seeing where it leads. To be magnetically drawn to venture into the unknown just for the sake of it. These are the ancient olive trees just outside Sefru that Jess walks her dog, Ebony, by some mornings. And as adults in a busy world of shoulds and to-do lists and other people, this can seem a luxury indeed that we can't afford. or that we can afford, but just not enough, and maybe not in the right places where it might really make a difference, and where us showing up as that creative spirit that we know we all are can have a hugely positive impact on others. So imagine if you turned up to your next meeting with your creative spirit fully on fire. I love this piece. This is the Roche Court again. If ever there was a time to see what we're really all really made of and what we can add to the world, it's now. I just want to show you this in nighttime. We can light up the dark. Imagine what you might create. So to recap, step 1, leave the everyday behind and tell your brain that you're off on an adventure. Step 2 was to just add some colour. And today we chose green, but you obviously have at least 6 more in the rainbow to choose from, or the whole colour spectrum, especially if you think about Morocco. The human eye can allegedly distinguish between 7 to 10 million individual colours out there, which is incredible. And step 3, just turn up your curiosity to number 11 and go for a wander, even if you're not going anywhere, you're just here in your house. So just imagine showing up with your creative spirit fully engaged, which I know many of you already do in some areas, but there's always room for more. So there you go. Those are 3 steps, and I hope you've had fun doing them. And now I'm going to pass you back to Jess, who's got a rather special image to share.
Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, Jess, we've got your other one. We've got your speaker notes.
Oh, bear with me.
That's okay.
There
we go.
Thank you indeed, Michelle. I really appreciate you. And just to sort of emphasize that there is indeed always room for more, which is constantly amazing. I don't think we ever reach a maximum level of creativity. How exciting. Let me introduce you to this character who many of you and all of you I'm sure are familiar with. As artists and coaches, now we love to serve and raise your level of inspiration. It can feel a lot to clear away the brambles and step over those hurdles. And that is why we've got a set of tools to help. Much like here with Superwoman's lasso, her bangles and her headband. On this webinar, we are inviting you to come on a fear-bashing, awe-inspiring, world-expanding adventure with us. 40 minutes is nothing really, merely dipping your toes in. How would you like to work with us directly on a deep dive? If so, please type in the chat, deep dive. It is only appropriate now to let you know that 10% of Creativity Crest's profits will go towards arts education for children in Morocco. Michelle and I believe in the power of arts and creativity to be encouraged at a young age, not an opportunity across the board in the education system here in North Africa. As Picasso stated, the creative adult is the child within us that never dies. I'd like to take this moment to illustrate what the effects of Creativity Quest resemble. I see the transformation of this course resembling the flavors of spices. Here in this slide is a row of typical seasoning used in a Moroccan kitchen. Once, in the time of traders' routes, they were incredibly sought after and expensive, the world longing for a more exciting flavor and aroma to its dishes. Now, the mastering and the balance of spices is a celebration in Moroccan dishes. This coaching course is somehow akin. Creativity and curiosity become one of life's daily flavors, the effects of which are like a change of mindset. When in tune with our values, we gain clarity that in itself gives power to a strong sense of direction. Sharing this quest is a passion of ours, and we'd love to see that spark within you ignited. Michelle and I have co-created this 7-part course to nurture and boost one's ability to see more opportunity and potential in the everyday. Now back to the artisan complex where I am sitting now. Up until a mere 100 years ago, when traders crossed the desert and traversed mountains to exchange their wares, we might have valued this course in gold, salt, spices, or even shells. However, today, I'm going to share with you in euros, US dollars, and British pounds. I'll refer to the euro prices and note that the dollars and the pounds will follow. Here are all the elements of the course and what it includes. 90-minute group coaching sessions over 7 weeks. Each session a powerful step doused in colour with a distinct destination. Throughout the weeks are enticers, motivations, and meditations. There's also a private WhatsApp group for those travelling together that serves as a support to share experiences and keep connected. And to log your experience and keep them in one place, we have designed a downloadable workbook bespoke to this adventure. This transformative online adventure amounts to €375. However, exclusive to those on this webinar today, we have an offer. Watch out, there's an undercurrent that wants to whisk you away on a vibrant adventure. If you would like to embark on Creativity Quest with a travel partner, maybe you had a trip planned this summer, we have a Bring a Friend discount. When 2 people book together, we are offering a 20% reduction, which means you're saving €75 per person. The cost of a Bring a Friend offer amounts to €300. Email us for that link. And Michelle, would you mind putting that in the chat?
Yeah, that's there.
Thank you. Solo travellers, fear not, we won't leave you behind. First, know that there are sure to be like-minded, free-spirited travellers like yourself on Creativity Quest. For anyone here in the presentation, we are offering a 15% discount, and that's a €56 reduction, valuing this journey at €319. Please note that both of those discounts are offered to you for the next 48 hours only. Click the offer at the bottom of this page. For those keen but in need to spend carefully, we have a payment plan. One may pay in 3 monthly instalments of €135. We take full responsibility in matching the right participant to Creativity Quest. It's really important for everyone involved. For this reason, we have a money-back guarantee. If you decide within 30 days that this adventure is not for you, we would give a 100% refund. That involves certain fair criteria, but we are fully committed to the cause and in matching the right community member with the right experience. Having consulted with our astrolab and astronomers, we have decided that the next Creativity Quest will commence on Saturday the 13th of June at 10 a.m. British Summer Time. We believe a thrilling way to dive into the weekend. Please note that other times can be arranged. Get in touch. We really don't want to leave anyone behind. I should tell you that Michelle and I had various choices when we were putting this package together. One option was to market Creativity Quest to as many people as possible, packaging it up to a pre-recorded and sending it out to them cost-effective and with less input and content. Mass-produced, if you liked. What we decided was to approach this course with all our passions and by pooling our experiences and resources, with live interactive group sessions, so to interact and serve better, providing a deeper experience for all. A bespoke artisan version, if you like. On the screen now, you will see the link that will take you directly to Creativity Quest. I took this photo. It certainly was a magic moment. Join Creativity Quest and maybe you too can follow this Tanner. We love what we do, and we truly believe that creativity is queen. and its effects can be contagious. Do this not only for yourselves, but for those around you. Imagine how you would feel if you booked and in 3 days' time, your place is fixed and you're preparing for a new adventure, excited at the prospect. Or imagine how it would feel in 3 weeks, once having embarked and you're maybe feeling rumbled, your curiosity aroused and senses sharpened. Remember the serotonins and dopamine? Or in 3 years, when this transformation has set in and you are aligned with your stars, living true to your values. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook for more shenanigans. Though as the Persian mystic Rumi said, don't be satisfied with the stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myths. We believe and are experiencing that this quest is a positive force. It is an important set of tools for the new world. Thank you for journeying with us on this webinar. We hope that you feel your bar of creativity and curiosity has been raised. Michelle and I will stay around if you have any questions. But for now, we say goodbye to some of you and sincerely hope to see you on the creative path. Michelle, would you join us in the room and we can answer any questions?
I'm back. You're going to put your video on as well, Jess?
Indeed I am.
So that's great. Thank you so much for going through the course and all of the details. And then we're going to answer some questions. And one of them that's been asked is, do you need any special materials? People are worried that you might be. Thanks, Sarah. And the answer is no, you don't. And there is no particular stress even on visual art or anything. Obviously, we're both artists, but people come to this with all sorts of different forms of expression, whether it's written word or spoken word or music or dance or whatever. That's their own thing. And this is the springboard to encourage more of that. So, and also we used materials that we find around, which is often much more powerful than using something that was designed to make art.
Like a lighter.
Yeah, like a lighter. Well, I've been working with string quite a lot lately. Just string. I didn't need any special art materials. So any other questions that we have? Also, the 90-minute sessions are on Zoom, so you don't that they're really easy and they're really great to participate in. It's very simple. So thank you. I can see lots of people saying thank you. I hope that you lift your spirits and your sense of adventure is fully intact for today. You go out there, wherever you're off to. And what are the other questions? The time that you need to commit is the 90 minutes for the weekly sessions, and that's it.
If I may add, yeah, I think there was a little bit of concern because people are very busy, that all these enticers throughout the week and meditations and that they're sort of compulsory, but just to add that they're all about encouragement. And so a lot of what the material that we share are audio, video, things that you can listen to when you're driving to work or whatever you're doing. You can, multitask, as we know so well. But they're really there to encourage you. And so none of it, there's not like a big list of shoulds or have-tos in any way whatsoever. It's really a course of attraction rather than a list of things that you have to sort of practice throughout the week. But we really hope that it becomes something that's all-encompassing.
Is the communication? No, the communication is on Zoom, so it's instant. So you'd be talking to us. Thanks, that's a really great question. No, on Zoom it's really instant, and we're all there live in the room together. If you're not a person that likes being in front of the camera, you don't have to be on camera, but you're there and you're instant. And We've also got breakout rooms on Zoom, so you can go off in pairs and work with somebody and just get to know them, even within the session, which has been really good fun in the sessions that we've done so far, for people, because you really get to hear and experience different points of view. So it's very collaborative, it's very instant, and no, it's not distant like this.
Yeah.
So, weekly tasks, that's a good question, Jan, thanks. No, there aren't, but we'll set you challenges during the session, and you can take them forward into the week and push yourself. But there's no pressure for people to do that if they don't want to, because like you say, we know that everybody's busy. Equally, people that go and run with this will probably do something a little bit every day just because they want to, and they're in that space that they can, and they get inspired, and then they come back the following week and they're just like, you'll never guess what I did. It's yeah, it's great to see people fully on, just like getting on that excitement and enthusiasm and just spirit of it all. So that's a great question. So yes, you could. Thanks. That's another good question. Jan's asked, could you work on a particular creative project? Very much so. So if you have something in mind already, or if you just want to open yourself up to a particular project, you can carry that through all of the colours, all of the weeks. So we go into a different colour every week, different focus every week. Like just being able to focus on the one thing. I think I said in the chat, for instance, red is the first colour that we do, the bottom of the rainbow, if you like, and it's very much to do with courage and the spark of earthing, of grounding that project, and just putting a good foundation into that project or that state of mind. And then we'll take it up through the weeks, through the different colours, and help you launch it, essentially, so you can really focus on it from different perspectives. Thank you. Yeah, the feedback every week. Actually, Jan, that's a really good point. It's the conversations that we have during the session are absolutely fascinating, full of energy, full of ideas. And what tends to happen is people will spark ideas off of each other just as much as they will be on their, you know, on your own and together in a group. It's amazing how many just like little thoughts come up that people spark because somebody said just one small thing, and it just led to a whole range of other ideas that spark off of it.
Yeah, could I add to that, Michelle?
Yeah,
just to let you know, Jan, that it's something we don't want to just for it to just be for artists, although it serves for everyone. And so as a creative person, just that idea that there is a sort of endless fountain of creativity, and it really is a huge boost. It was for me, and it still is for me, continues to be so, even creating this course. However, the idea of feedback can be very intimidating for others, and it's really not that it has to be for a project that one is crafting and creating. And so the idea of the WhatsApp group is a lot of that opportunity for feedback, for example. But in that sense, we're not sort of giving a task that everyone has to create something, if you like. It's really an approach to everyday life and everyday living, and it doesn't have to be something that happens in the studio or in a book or with any sort of specific tool in one's hand. We really hope that it's encompassing, and it's every way that you approach life, whether that be in the workspace or at home or in the park or in the garden or in a studio or in a book, or whatever form that takes.
Or at work as well. I think people taking it into the workplace is absolutely amazing, because it just come into what they bring with them into the room. If you're in a different mindset, and then just even slightly different mindset, it can so dynamically change what comes out of your mouth, how you approach situations that may seem totally unsolvable, and then now you've just got this different sense of it, a bit more confidence, a little bit of it's so profound and small. It seems so small, and actually it's huge, because just takes that slight shift, and then you show up differently. That's what you just do, and people do, and then they come back the following week and just go, like I say, you know, you'll never guess what I did, because they surprise themselves just in those smallest things. So yeah, there's a website which I put a link to, and I'll put another link to in the chat, and that explains more. And also, if you want to talk to anything, just give us a shout, and we can explain it more in detail for anyone that really wants to see it. The different topics and the different stresses of each of the different weeks as it leads through. I can talk to you personally about that if you'd like to know more. So, and we will eventually. So I think thank you so much for your questions.
Many thanks. Yeah.
We're literally nearly at the top of the hour. So time is precious, but yeah, please drop us a line if you have any more questions, and we look forward to seeing more of you on the Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, we've been doing live chats on Instagram every week as well, haven't we? The colours.
Indeed.
Yeah. So great. Thank you so much.
Time to say goodbye, but with much gratitude, and we really appreciate your interaction. It makes all the difference to our adventure.
It does. And yeah, thank you, and have an absolutely great day with your curiosity and your sense of adventure and your creative spirit all totally shining. Thank you.
Goodbye.